Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with our integration tour through history. Before we get started, I just wanted to show a really cool feature on the loading screen, which I haven't done yet. That I thank you, Out of the Park Developments. For people that have multiple saves running like I do, it's really cool to be able to click load game and get all the details here. The last time I accessed the game, the date I am in the game, what team I'm playing, the kind of league, and the name of the game. This is so incredibly helpful. Um, you'll notice I'm not playing a single save on this yet. I probably will at some point, but there's other games I want to play. As much as I love Out of the Park Baseball, so I haven't actually started a single player league yet. I might do at some point. We'll see. Early integration. I've been at some point I should probably start doing more backups than I do. Um, I don't really think it's crucial because this game is fairly stable, but maybe we'll do it really quickly. They'll give me a chance to talk about what we're gonna do today while we let it run. Um, I wanted to make a couple of quick comments about the format of the early integration series, specifically how it's been going. It is a very different way to play OOTP for two main reasons. The first reason is everybody has a comically huge amount of money. That is not. That's a feature of the entire. What am I looking for? The entire out of the park experience is that. I completely forgot what I just said. Give me a second. Oh my gosh. It's early yet. It's early. That thought just went right out of my head, so we'll just continue onwards. Um um Oh, the fact that every historical team has too much money. Yes, that's always been a feature of the historical franchise. Um, it's because of the way the game calculates your budget, I guess, where it's comically to get a gigantic budget, even for a smaller team. Like, just as an example, right? Let's just take an example here. My market size is quite small, which doesn't make sense because it's still Boston. It's because of the weighting factors that indicate that the Braves are the second cousin, so to speak. But let's take a genuinely smaller city. Cincinnati is a great example, or Cleveland. Um, let's look at Cleveland for example. Even Cleveland has more money than they could ever spend. Although they actually have an above average market size because they actually like the entire market goes to one team. Um, the Dodgers have a comically huge amount of money. Like we probably have the smallest market in the game, I would imagine. And yet we still have more money than we can spend. That is a feature of the historical experience, where money is just basically not a problem for any team until you start getting into free agency because player costs are controlled. Um, Again, this isn't a bug; it's a feature. For those of you that might not have played the historical Sims, you're new to the out of the park baseball period, you understand what's called the reserve clause. Up until I always get this date wrong, but I think it's 1972. I'm gonna look it up so I don't look like a complete dipshit. But I'm pretty sure it's 1972. That's not helpful. Google, you're betraying me. Yes, I was right. 1972. Damn, it's nice to know that my brain is functioning correctly. Yes. When they sued to basically say that the reserve clause is unfair, but the reserve clause is quite simple. Teams keep the rights of their players essentially in perpetuity until they choose to release them. They can just renew their contract unilaterally without the player's consent. Um, the player can choose not to sign it, And if he doesn't play baseball for, I think, a whole year, then it goes away. But the number of baseball players who both have the financial wherewithal as well as the desire to sit out an entire year was pretty tiny. Um, so the only way you get out of it is either they choose not to offer the contract, and I think, yeah, I think if you set out for an entire year, um, I think that's right. If you set out for an entire year and then you become a free agent, but it's really interesting. Um, so yeah, they can either hold out or not. I'm not too positive if you automatically have free agents to be held out for an entire year. I think that's how it worked, but in my 30 seconds of research, I haven't been able to confirm that. So somebody in the comments or on Reddit can let me know for sure what the actual correct answer to that is. But so anyway, that's one thing about the series that's made it interesting. The second thing is the incredible amount of freely available talent that the AI doesn't seem to be taking advantage of. I basically had the pick of the litter anytime I wanted to sign a player from one of the independent league teams, like the San Francisco Seals, or one of the Negro League teams. I don't know if that's a bug or if the other teams are just that much more developed than I am, and therefore it's not as big a deal. Purely guessing. So what this has meant for the series is it hasn't been terribly challenging, but the sheer vicissitudes of the average Major League Baseball season mean that even with an ideal roster, I'm still going to lose more. I'm still going to lose games. Like, I'm never going to win 162 games. That's not physically possible. 154, excuse me. It's not getting 162 for several decades, yeah. 154 games, no one's going to win every single game. No one loses every single game. I was teasing my wife about that the other day because we had watched the tail end of the Cubs Rangers game because she's a Cubs fan. Um, that ball is absolutely fair. Come on, umpire. I don't know what they were thinking there, but yeah, but she was a little disappointed because the Cubs ended up losing in the bottom of the 10th, and the Cleveland had already won. They'd won 8-0 over the A's with Shane Bieber pitching an amazing start as he often does. And I just reminded her no team wins all their games, no team loses all their games. Even the Oakland A's last year, which were a pretty terrible team, well, the Colorado Rockies didn't lose every game. And even the world champion Texas Rangers didn't win every game, the Dodgers didn't win every game, etc., etc., etc. Because that's the way it works, I don't feel that we have an unfair advantage by only using the players, but I am going to try to keep my signings relatively minimal just to leave some sort of intrigue. Okay, it's enough of me yapping. Let's actually take a look at the team. What we accomplished last year, we won the World Series, and see where we go from here. I love the team home screen. By the way, I know this isn't new. This has been like this for a long time. I really like the ability to customize the way you want to. I'm getting rid of this graph. I frankly find it kind of confusing and annoying. Um, top prospects here would be good. I have the standings on the left hand side, so I don't need the standings there. Let's get the what is team position ratings again? That is really helpful. I have a minor league team now. That's amazing. I don't care so much about the team's schedule, to be honest with you. I really have my top prospects listed there for one and all. I have minor leagues now. What? Have I always had minor leagues? Maybe. That's really good. I like having minor league teams. That's going to give us so much more flexibility. The New York, Pennsylvania League. It's BC, which means it's not very good talent. It is what it is. We're doing weird things again. Cool. Oh, we're gonna put. Oh, now we have actual 40-man rosters. Got it. I don't get an infinite reserve clause, an infinite reserve roster. That's fair. We're gonna do this and this, and then injured list. That seems like a good bet there. So what happened to everybody in my old reserve roster? Are they just gone? Did they get cut? Did I seriously lose a whole bunch of fucking players? I have 121 players, so where are they? Like, seriously, how can I see the rest of my team? What? Oh, they're all just here on the Rule 5 roster? Maybe. Okay, I apologize. I am badly confused at where my players fucking went. Like, where even is Hal Trotsky? He just kind of exists, I suppose? Oh, that's why I can't fucking find him, because the game randomly make him into a starting pitcher. Why are you so stupid, game? This man is an outfielder. Don't be silly. That's better. But so it's like I have 121 players, of whom comparatively few actually exist. Where do the rest of them live? Like, where are they? Oh, they're just designated for assignment. Got it. Okay. That makes complete sense. Let's fuck with this really quickly here. You know what I don't like? I don't like that I can't see how good they are. That's really obnoxious. Can I see the roster somewhere else? Well, I guess let's do calling the minors first. Let's do that to winnow down this list. That's 45 players that are going to be dispatched. And let me remove this. And then we'll wait till we get our scouting director, and then we'll start slotting people in where they need to go. Okay. Now we'll just cut Lou Gehrig. I'm joking. Of course we're going to keep Lou Gehrig. Don't be stupid. But let's get our coaches hired up. That'll be our next step. All right, we have 4 vacancies on this staff. 4. I will spend any amount of money for a great scouting director. I think it's so critical for us, really. They all fucking suck. They're all the worst. Oh, hang on. There we go. No, I want the best. I don't care if they get along or not. Ballplayer Armstrong is a marginally more interesting scout to me because he's got some minors really well and he's really good at scouting the amateurs. I think he's the best choice for us. So we're gonna bring you along to be our scouting director. Done. Next, I need a pitching coach. Somebody who can teach our pitchers how to be the best versions of themselves. By far, Jake Fromholtz is the best one. By far. Let's quickly check out relationships. He has great relationships. Amazing. Welcome to the Red Sox, Jake Fromholtz. First base coach and third base coach. We really want to make sure we've got really good people to teach the infield, the outfield, and catching. We want really good teachers, essentially. Pete LaPon is a really good fit. He's a really good fit. He's great at teaching catching. He's outstanding at development. I love it. Let's make that a thing. And then I really need somebody that can help us with our infielders. I think William Ross is the next best choice. So let's make that happen. All right, we have a serious high horsepower coaching staff now. Rule when people will sign, which is amazing. Now let's get the player complex set up because I always forget about this stuff. It's really important now. Player development, practice facility. What do we want people to work on most of all? Mr. Trotsky, if we believe OSA, is good at everything basically except for his batting eye. Let's have him start by working on contact. Oh, actually, quality kind of is actually pretty challenging. Let's work on plate discipline instead. Make him a bit more selective. Next up is Cecil Travis. I want him to work on playing third base, but I also want him to improve quality of contact. They're both reasonable goals. He can try, like, he might have a chance to do both if we're really lucky. Let's try to work on his defense first. Vito Tamulis. I think we need to work on his control. Here we go, done. Jojo White and Roy Parmalee. Roy Parmalee needs to work on his control. If he can improve his control, he's got a reasonable chance at maybe making the major league roster this year. What happened to everybody else? Oh, so everybody else is not considered a prospect? Yes, I have to keep reminding myself of that. Van Mungo needs to keep working on control. He just does. And Bill Swift needs to work on his overall stuff. I think that means improving his pitches. Let's have him work on his secondary pitches. It'll still make him more effective. And it should work on his fastball, which is something that could definitely use some work. Okay, so that's all set up, and now I can simply advance time a bit and see if we can hire ourselves. I took a decision now? Oh, that's gross. That is literally terrible. Alright. Can I add the current level? Yeah, here we go. Let's add this. That is hugely unhelpful. Thanks, game. Not helpful. Let's first take our 25-man roster and add them all to the 40-man. That helps some, but that helps us organize our thoughts here. I guess we do it one at a time and decide if we're gonna. How many people that are DFA do I actually have? That's 50 players. I can only have 40 in my minors, so I gotta figure out who we don't want to keep. Alright, Dick Bass. He's fine. Like, he's not terribly thrilling, but I've seen worse. We can add him to the New York. Oh, I said the entire list of the New York Penn League, which actually helps tremendously because then I get to decide how we're gonna do this. Uh, Travis, Tamulis. Like, we could easily keep everybody because of the 40-man roster. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the two of you. You serve no real purpose. I was taking the top 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, and y'all are gonna come over here. So we gotta get rid of 9 players. I'd rather get rid of older players who haven't shown any signs of development than the younger players who might turn out to be something a little bit better. Um, Go sort by age. 2, 3. I gotta go rid of 9 players, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's cut them all. All right, now we're down to our actual minor league franchise numbers, which was really important. I'm glad that we accomplished that. So, what do we actually need at this point in our careers as a Major League Baseball team? Our rotation is gross, and it's going to be even more gross if Van Mungo and Bill Swift continue to improve. Like, it's just going to be disgusting. A bullpen could be better. Frankie Pitlack is a perfectly acceptable catcher. I'm not worried about catcher. First base is pretty good. Second is still a real weakness. We could get a better second baseman if one were available. I'm happy to have Damari in center. And ball player Schilling is a pretty solid choice at right field. So I'm reasonably chuffed with our current roster. Second base is the biggest area we could upgrade at. If we can get a good second baseman, I think that would be an amazing offseason. I really do. All right. Let us advance forwards in time. Yeah, none of you fuckers are gonna offer as much money as me. I'm gonna be like, yo, bitch. You got William Ross. Everybody else is enjoying the offers we're making. There's our scouting director. There's our pitching coach. Let's quickly fix the scouting budget. Turn off this nonsense. I'm gonna devalue this just a little bit to put a little bit more into minor league scouting. My reasoning being we're not going to have great position in the draft anyway, and the draft class has been so unbelievably shallow that it's not really a great use of resources. Let's take a trip down player adding lane and see. No, it's not player search. It is under. If I click there and then there, and yeah. Any pitcher with 50 plus potential. What do we got? All leagues. We have a bunch of them as free agents. Like, there's a comically huge amount of quality pitchers as free agents. That's funny. I mean, all it would cost me is money to get an overpowered starting pitcher like Ted Radcliffe. That is a lot of money, though. That's fair. I don't know that I want to invest more money in pitching. I mean, Henry McHenry is pretty special. I might be willing to stretch a point for Mr. McHenry here. Yeah, I'll offer Henry McHenry a contract. I'm okay with that. Just because he's got so much upside, and I'm gonna want him to sit in the minors for at least a season, I think I'm pretty happy about that. We could get Bob Brown of the Dallas Steers. Tempting, but no, I don't really want Black Bottom Buford. What the fuck? You're a terrible pitcher, but I like your name. I like it a lot. Poor Lefty Gomez. He'll eventually get free agency and he'll feel reasonably happy with his future, I think. He's so good. Can I resist it? I don't think I can. I think we have to do it. I think I am legally obligated to purchase him. He's such a good pitcher. I'm sorry. And I think having a ridiculous pitching staff is going to be our key to being a great team year in and year out. And what do we got hitting wise? I mean, Jake Dunn could theoretically solve our second base problem. He's expensive as shit. He's not that great a hitter, but he's a really good defender. I will consider that after I have gone through some of the other teams and seeing if there is an interesting player available. Frankie Cossetti is not a second baseman, but he is a good third baseman if I wanted one, which I don't. Eh. Let's narrow it down to second base and ask for a defense of at least 50 and see what this gets us at. Yeah, I don't want him. Okay, good second basemen are hard to come by. Duly noted. Um, Jake Dunn might be our best choice, maybe even our only choice. Upgraded second base. Mm, he's getting a lot of money, but I think he's still good enough to justify it because I'm not likely to find a good one. Yeah, we'll do it. I have the money. Um, we're gonna do this Mr. Lefty Gomez. I wonder. Like he's got to go to the major league roster, right? Like he has to. What about the other guy I purchased? Where'd he go? Oh no, he hasn't signed yet. That's the issue. Okay. No gold gloves for us. That's disappointing. Not terrible, but disappointing. Damn, at shortstop and at first base, we had a silver slugger, but no gold gloves this year. I mean, I don't know that any of my defenders are that great, so I'm not that annoyed by it. Who did get? We also had a reliever of the year go out too, and my relievers kind of suck. Damn, the Cardinals have really invested in defense with Cochran, Bluge, Ethan Allen, and then George Eulie. Was he called the Big Bull or the Bad? Oh, he's just called the Bull. And he's the pitcher Cleveland way back in the day. See? He was part of the 1920 World Championship team. True story. Yeah, Stan Hack finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. That's not nothing. It is, in fact, something. I mean, sure, we've got to have at least one more award, right? There we go. Manager of the Year Award, Cy Young, and MVP. All three of them. Nice. Clarence White got the Cy Young Award. And he got MVP. Interesting. Oh, that was close. Damn. Lou Gehrig, we would have gotten it either way. Lou Gehrig lost out by 2 measly votes because Clarence White had one of the most amazing seasons in the history of Major League Baseball as a pitcher. The man produced 7.7 WAR. If we look at all-time pitching performances, I have a pretty strong opinion that's going to be quite high. Single season pitching. Oh, that's right. The dead ball error was a thing. He doesn't crack the top 100. Lame. All right, let's do some Hall of Fame voting. I wonder who is up for the vote. I gotta be real with you. It's not a lot of great players. I'll vote for Lefty Williams as a left-hander myself if we have to give them due consideration. I'll vote for George Sisler. I think that's reasonable given the fact he has 3,000 hits. I'll also vote for Zach Wheat, even though I'm not convinced he's all that special. I do think he's good enough. Dutch Leonard, I will vote for happily because he is a really good pitcher. Yeah, alright. Vote for Heine Groh, Wilbur Cooper. No, Ray Chapman, definitely. I will vote for Babe Adams, and I will vote for Home Run Baker. And Dave Bancroft. Done. Spin ballot. I shall return, dear friends, momentarily. All right. So let us continue through the off season and see what happens here. Henry McHenry wants more money. I will happily give him more money. I have nothing better to spend it on. We're currently winning this particular contract. Um, and I think we have to win it because I don't have another way to have. Oh, Roy Parmalee, 1,000% is being added to the 40-man roster. I'm not going to lose him for nothing. I don't really care so much about the others, but I don't want to lose Parmalee for nothing. But I think Parmalee has a fairly good chance to contribute in the relatively near future. Are there any good players coming up in this draft pool that I have even a snowball's chance in hell of getting? Probably not. No, this draft is what we call shit. That is the definition of this particular draft. I'll probably just actually keep my first round pick and try to hope that next year's is less shitty. Is what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna lose either one of these. Like, I'm not going to let you beat me. Cecil Travis did not improve at third base, which is disappointing to say the least. But we'll figure it out. Mr. Travis, kind sir, I'd like to train you on something else now, if I could. Really? That's all I have left? I guess I can work on base running, I suppose. Vito Tamulis is not going to get any better, which is disappointing. That's for sure. Sigh. Oh, I see. It imports historical rookies right before the draft, so maybe it won't be quite as bad a a thing. There's a few players here. They're at least reasonably interesting. Um, Lonnie Fry would be my preferred choice. If Lonnie Fry is still around by the time I get to draft, I will draft him super quick. Lickety and or Split, but I don't think he'll make it to me. OSA thinks I'll end up with Larry Barton, which seems like a pretty shitty deal, but I have to take what I can get, so here we are. He didn't fall to me. I'm not surprised. How far did he make it? Pick 9. Okay. That is disappointing. I was really hoping to get a quality second baseman. I guess there's a couple I could draft that aren't terrible. Don Gutteridge is fine. Don Johnson is slightly better at hitting, but only slightly. No, Don Johnson is significantly better at hitting. I guess. I like Mel Almada. He's a really good all-around hitter, but let's at least look at Jim Tobin before making any choices here. A knuckleballer? What? I cannot tell you how much I love the little stup, muv, and comp right underneath that. That is so helpful to see a player at a glance, see what he might become. That is really useful. Slick Castleman is one of the greatest names of all time. Castle Slider Splitter, that's pretty good. He's also not very loyal. So the question is, do we take a Don Johnson? He's not a great second baseman, but he's a good hitter, and I think no, he's not actually. His entire game is based around the ability to hit for contact, which isn't ideal. Don Gutteridge is at least a little bit more well-rounded and has a little bit more upside as second baseman. Plus, he works hard. I think I'll take Gutteridge. I just need more infield talent in my system, and he seems like he could be a pretty decent choice. And we will offer him his bonus demand. Done. Who ended up taking? Because I think the player I'm gonna regret passing on more than any other is gonna be Mel Almada. I want to shortlist him. See how he turns out. And good old Slick Castleman, of course. It's a good choice. Andy Porter seems like the best of these three pitchers. I just think it's hard to overvalue control. Like at some point, players like this are going to get washed out. Although he isn't a terrible hitter, that isn't nothing. That isn't nothing. But his upside is fairly unimpressive, other than his control. What are we looking at with Bill Brubaker? A good on base man who can handle third base without too much of a hassle. That's not bad. It's just not great. Mike Trush is the guy. We're gonna take him with our second round pick. I want more catching in our system. Easy choice. Hmm. Like Kermit Dial's better than he looks as a pitcher. He's at least a reasonably good outfielder, but he's not a very good hitter. I don't feel particularly enthused by adding him to our club. I like Leroy Morney. We're going to grab him. A switch hitting shortstop with pretty good defense is going to be valuable no matter what happens. Um, we'll give him his bonus demand of $60. Just peel off six $10 bills. Or 320s, either or. Are you a good catcher? You're a reasonably good catcher with a little bit of outfield chops to you. I think you're just a valuable player because you can play so many different positions, and you're not a bad pitcher either. Gene, welcome to the Boston Braves. Boston. Um, meh. Like the value of taking Kermit Dial is not as a pitcher, but as a hitter. But he's literally got one pitch, and it's not very good, and he's real stupid. So I don't think he's a good draft pick at all. I'm gonna let the AI. I'm gonna let our scouting director pick everybody else. That seems reasonable. And let's immediately go to calling the miners and just murder them. But I guess I'm not actually killing them. Um, there we go. I still have too many players, and this is any kind of genuinely good prospects that I haven't signed yet. So we'll need to make some decisions for sure. Do I want anything from the Rule 5 draft? I'm not sure that I do. I'll at least look to see if there's anybody interesting, but I probably won't bother. Oh, Burt Redwine got taken. Good for him. Oh, you want to actually be paid money to join our club? I'll pay you $97. That's like a fucking rounding error. Are there any interesting players here? I don't think that there are. It's almost exclusively pitchers, right? Leon Riley might be the exception. He's got really, really good stuff. And he's literally my pitcher. So I can just literally just put Leon Riley on the 40 man and he is mine. And he can no longer be drafted. Mm, I could draft Tommy Thompson. I'm fine with that. He at least offers us a little flexibility because he can also handle second base. And we lost Ray Pepper. Poor Ray. I'm not going to bother with the rest of the Rufai draft. I don't think there's anybody else here that really excites me. So we're just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a. I guess if you really want an outfielder that's that mid, go for it. But I think you're a bit silly. I'm just gonna put that out there. You're a bit silly. Done signed, which is really important. Um, I'm very happy about that because Dunn offers us something we don't have right now, which is a top tier second base choice. I'm not letting him play short just because I do have Lynn Larry. Lin Larry's like an even better second baseman, which he's not. He's actually better suited to being a shortstop. So let's go ahead and transform Mr. Dunn into a second baseman, which is actually who is the better shortstop? Lynn Larry's definitely the better hitter. There's no questioning that. And Dunn is definitely the better base runner. Equally accurate. Yeah, Larry's the better shortstop. I like Dunn playing being a second baseman, as he's a better fit there. I guess he would be an amazing second baseman too. He's just kind of hiding it. But yeah, I value his superior range, but I still think we're gonna have a pretty good double play combination. So we're gonna turn Dunn into a second baseman. We're literally playing Ben Chapman at second base. That seems like a terrible idea. Like he is very uninspired as a second baseman. I'd rather have fuck around with the outfield before I'd let Ben Chapman go back to second base. But Jake Dunn can play second. He's a good egg. Hmm. George Sisler made it easily. Babe Adams got kicked off. I think that's a shame, but the problem for pitchers, it's kind of the problem for pitchers today, right? The dead ball pitchers are so good that they make current pitchers look like shit. But the pitchers of this time frame look like shit. Just like the pitchers of the 60s and 70s look so amazing that I'm not gonna say its standards have dropped, but it's just you cannot expect a pitcher to win 300 games. Is that gonna happen? Even winning 200 games is getting to the point where it's a real achievement because starters don't pitch as long as they used to. Not because they're weak, not because they're not capable of doing it, but because that's just the way that modern pitching works. Because everyone has to pitch at the top of their game every single time. All right. Also, Trout's got better at base running. That's something. Not really what I was looking for, but I'll take it. He's cut my budget. What a jerk. Well, my budget's $170,000, and yet I still have a gigantic budget. I don't know what's happening here. I've got all this money. What if I poured 60 grand into player development? There we go. And let's max out our scouting budget too. We're still making a profit. Don't be cranky, game. Why do we think that ticket prices are gonna? Why do we think people aren't gonna come to watch the World Series champions? That strikes me as very strange. I think you're a drunk, game. I believe that you are intoxicated. Jake Dunn has improved substantially. That's pretty amazing. Pitlack is a really good catcher now. Roy Parmalee got better. Damn. That is fucking wild, man. That is insane. I almost have too many good pitchers now. We're gonna have a bit of a think about how we want this to work out. Um, Henry, Trosky, Travis all get to make an attempt. Jojo White is a terrible center fielder, and I don't really see the point in calling him up. Roy Sherreed and Alverson can have a shot. I would embarrass him Rich as a pitcher. I truly, truly do. Um, I have too many great pitchers. It's going to be a struggle to figure out who should play where and why. Um, Either way. Bench coach, do your thing, yo. I don't know if I'd love playing Hal Trotsky over Ben Chapman, but it's not like wait, what? Trotsky just instantly became amazing? What? Eh, maybe. Maybe. Um Ben Chapman is too damn good a hitter to sit on the bench. So if we don't find a regular role for Chapman, um, that we will make some adjustments. It's just spring training, so I don't mind giving the younger guy a little bit more time. We're definitely going to go for a 5-man rotation here. There you go. Remember that a lot of these Negro leaguers tend to wash out quite quickly. Shane Tilgan is a really good catcher. He's better than Frankie Pitlack. Eh, Frankie's the better position play is the better catcher, but Pitlack is the or Hogan here is the better hitter. And Comer Cox, I am oh am ambivalent towards. I guess losing Roy Johnson would suck though. Especially since he's my best choice center field right now. What if I drop Roy Johnson? We talk about adding somebody else in. Oh, you want Ben Johnson? I'll give you Ben Johnson. Bob Johnson. Yeah, this is far superior to me. Hogan's a really good catcher. He's really, really good, and he's a really effective hitter too, which just makes me happier. Oh, I guess we gotta add him to the roster, don't we? From the DFA, the thing up here in the top should be the roster there. There you go. There you go. It's gonna have to take an amazing performance by Hal Trotsky to even consider things. He got a little bit better. We took a step back. Damn. I mean, Bill Swift got better. That's pretty cool. It doesn't clear how beneficial it is to use the different development labs yet. I really can't afford to have my catcher be injured for 3 weeks. I don't really have another catcher. Yep. I knew this was gonna happen. Another Negro Leaguer flames out in record time. Mungo's control is slipping a little bit. Garrett got a tiny bit worse. Trotsky got a hair better. Mm. I do not want to play till the 11th. I want to play till our last game so I can get a real sense of who's injured and who is not. All right, friends, let us now prepare the team the way we like to be prepared. So we're gonna lose Mr. Hogan here for 2 more weeks, so we're gonna put him on the IL to open the season. I need to find a catcher now, and this might be impossible. Oh no, we have some catchers here. Pause. Are any of you at least reasonably unobjectionable? Josh Gibson can make a little comeback. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Let us now set up the roster that we wanted set up. 60 pitches is excessive. Let's send 5 to the minor leagues, we'll say. So Dean, Gomez, Matlock, and Parmalee are all guaranteed rotation spots. Peterson is the worst one we have. Taco Page is really good just last season, so we might have to figure out a role for him. I think Van Mungo gets to stay. Alverson and Clarence White both. Oh, do I have coaches for the minor leagues? I probably don't. I do have coaches for the minor leagues. They're just probably not very good. We'll need to think about that one. I'm down to 13 pitchers. Shareed. It's got a 40-man. That doesn't mean he can't go to the minor leagues, does it? No, if someone takes Roy Shareed, they can have him. I'm gonna send Satchel Paige to the minor leagues. And then probably Danny McFadden is the last guy sent on this because his pitching's up to 10 pitchers, which is more than sufficient. Do we keep Clarence White? I don't think we do. He's lost way too much of his upside for us to risk it right now. Like, his ability to strike people out just disintegrated because he lost a whole bunch of velocity. So I think we're better served letting Van Mungo be our 5th starter, perhaps. So let's clear this out. We're going to rebuild the pitching the way I want to rebuild it. What are other teams doing this point? Are they running 5-man rotations or 4-man rotations? 5. Okay, I'm reasonably happy to do 5-man as well. I think Dizzy Dean is our ace. Followed by Lefty Gomez, then Roy Parmalee, then Leroy Matlock, and then Van Mungo. I call Henry McHenry. Oh, right, I forgot about you. You're gonna be emergency starter, long relief, and if one of our starters starts to slip, you're gonna be the #1 person to fill in. To see so with 4 pitchers to be our potential relief star. And I think that guy has to be Leon Riley. A guy that throws this fucking hard at this era is so underrated as a bullpen weapon. So he's going to be our closer. Coming in the 8th or later as we need him. Then the others are all just going to be regular rolled relievers. And we may end up adding another pitcher to the bullpen. Actually, we just have to start to still carry the lion's share of the lion's share of the load. I don't feel comfortable not having Satchel Paige on the roster, so I think we're going to send out one additional hitter. So I'm going to bring Paige back. Paige is currently a 46. No, it's got to be Mungo. Mungo just offers that much more upside for now. We can still make him a middle reliever though. So we got to get rid of 4 position players. How do we get so many mediocre second basemen? Cecil Travis is immediately going to the minors. The question is, what do we do about Hal Trotsky? Because here's the thing, I am not benching Ben Chapman. Trotsky is really, really good, but he's not Ben Chapman. And he's been an on base machine. We have to have him as our leadoff guy for us to truly be the best team we can be. So he's staying no matter what. Like, that's not up for debate. The first debate is okay, Ed Coleman is not being kept. That was easy. Um Gautreau can walk. But obviously Todd Gulick or Terrace McDuffie are the worst choices here. We'll send down the older guy. There we go. So we're down to 25. The question is, how do we set our opening day lineup, especially if Hal Trotsky is going to make the team? I have 4 position players for 3 slots. Do I have any weirdness with our park? I want to say we suppress home runs. We do, by left-handed batters in particular. So Hal Trotsky's going to have a rough time of it, especially over ball player Schilling. I'd rather Trotsky get another year in the minors, and we will keep Eddie Coleman instead. That solves the issue, right? Then it's going to be Chapman, Damari, and Schilling. Or Johnson. What's Damari at center? He's a 55. That's fine. He could even end up being a 60. But yeah, this is, I think, the best lineup we could have. Let's set the lineup the way we would like it set. Nuke that lineup into fucking orbit. All right. Our number 1 guy is going to be Ben Chapman. He's going to lead off and play left field. That's a no-brainer decision. The question is who hits second. And that I'm not as sure about. I'm not as sure about that. Roy Johnson actually a really good second hitter if I weren't already using him for other things. Like, Johnson's going to be the odd man out, which I feel terrible about, but it's just the way this roster is going to shake down. There's nothing to be done about that. I guess Damari hitting second makes some sense. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make Frank Damari our number 2 hitter. That means Lou Gehrig hits third, and Schilling hits fourth. Look, at some point, ball player Schilling is going to fucking flame out and be a terrible player, but at least for right now, I am more than happy to let him continue to be on the roster because of his elite power and speed. He will age, and as he ages, Hal Trotsky will be in there to swoop in and take over. So the outfield is now filled. So who hits fifth? It could be Jake Dunn. It could be Stan Hack. Dunn has a little more power, so I think Dunn is the call. Or is it Lynn Larry? No, Lynn Larry is a pure on base guy. I want him to hit a little bit later on in the lineup. Excuse me. So Hack hits sixth. Then Mr. Larry hits seventh, which is not an indictment of Lynn Larry. It's just as what the roster looks like. And then to start the season, I think Raleigh Helmsley gets the spot of catcher. And then once we get Hootie McBoob, whatever his name is, Shorty Hogan, Shanty Hogan, something, then we can adjust from there. I don't like Gibson playing relatively frequently. He's certainly not a terrible choice, but he is going to be limited. And we have to consider that as we are playing through the game. Did any crazy people make the roster that weren't already on it? Oh, Josh Gibson did. He needs to be added to the 40 man. And I think that's it. Yeah. So Shanty Hogan is going to get his catching job back once he's healthy. It's really just a matter of seeing how Hal Trosky performs this season. Now I saw way too many people in New York. Let me go through calling the minors again. This time for the entire minor leagues. Yeah, we can assassinate the two of you. We can disembowel you. No, we're not gonna disembowel. Or are we? We're not. Let's sort by age. Anybody that's relatively old is probably where they're going to be. Jonah Goldman is a shortstop we can't shortstop. That seems like a pretty bad choice. I do want to keep around Ted Gulick. Cut these fuckers. Charlie Lewis could be a really good shortstop one day, so we're going to keep Mr. Lewis here. Eh, maybe. I'm going to say that's going to force me to do, but it probably will. I guess I could pull him off waivers. Yeah, I'll take him off waivers. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, okay. I guess he's all yours then, Washington. He is all yours. And you are a McNut. Um. All right, team. I'm gonna simulate 1 week and see if it stops me. Yep. But I have a non-roster invitee. Who? Oh, Henry McHenry. I couldn't see that. That was actually a circle. There you go. Oh, so I see. It just doesn't enforce the roster limit. Like you can have it, but okay, that's fair. That is fair. Let's submit to the end of the month then. Mr. Gibson, I'm sending you back to the minor leagues. It's nothing personal, but Shanty's my dude. He's the shantiest. Mm, ow, owie. That's a lot of players not getting better. That makes me sad. Have a little tear. Just a small one. Hmm. Gotro. Blisters Almira. There's a cream for that. Wasn't Elmira the name of the little red-haired girl on Animaniacs? Or Elvira? It was one of those two, I think. Maybe not though. Maybe I'm making that up. Lefty Gomez is continuing to get worse. That is disappointing. Roy Parmalee is getting better. Ben Chapman is getting a little better. Tommy Thompson. Jojo White's getting better. Tamulis' big issue is going to be his control. He's also already melted down a little bit. He used to have a much higher ceiling. What has he lost? Oh, he's losing velocity. That's not ideal. 6 hits for Josh Gibson, though. That's pretty cool. Look, we're winning at a pretty good clip. I don't see the need to fuck with anything yet. I will take a quick look, but I think we're doing okay. 2 weeks out for Ben Chapman. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Hal Trotsky's music. I'm not gonna let Trotsky lead off though. We're gonna have Lynn Larry lead off, and then Mr. Trotsky's gonna fill in and place and hit 7th. There you go. Done. A couple weeks for Ben Chapman isn't the worst thing in the world, especially if he recovers fairly quickly. Um, yeah. Um, we're really good at everything. Except we make a lot of errors. We're not great at base running, but when you have this much, like, this lineup from top to bottom is frankly terrifying. The one change we might want to make, the distance between Frank Damari and Roy Johnson is a lot less than it used to be. Because Roy Johnson is actually, but is overall the better hitter. But Damari's the better center fielder. Do we sacrifice the better center fielder for the much better hitter? Let's compare their actual ratings before I make any decision. No, don't check them all. Just those two, and we'll use compare. I mean, offensively, Roy Johnson is far superior. Like, it's not even in the same ballpark. Meant both ironically and unironically. He's also a really good base runner. And we are weak at base running. How big is their difference defensively? Roy Johnson is a terrible center fielder. That was what I was afraid of. I think we're hurting the team too much to bench Damari in favor of Johnson. As much as I like Roy Johnson, I think he's a really good player. I don't think we can sacrifice a good center fielder for a terrible one. Damari Johnson did so much more offensively. Um, so did Tommy Thompson. And Mr. Thompson isn't actually that bad offensively, but he's having a bad year. Hmm. Trotsky's not touching center field with a 20-foot pole. That's a certainty. Schilling would be a terrible center fielder. 628 slugging percentage. Good God, man. It's rough. Roy Johnson in a corner outfield is an amazing player and one well worth having. Um, but I think we keep Ben Chapman once he returns. And I think, quite frankly, we leave Damari where he is, but I wouldn't be surprised if we should maybe bat him lower in the lineup. Um, because he's not hitting that well, which means our offensive machine is sputtering. I'm saving a spot for Lynn Larry once Ben Chapman comes back. That's how we will rearrange things. Let's see who makes the All Star team. Probably lots of Boston Braves would be my suspicion. Dizzy Dean, Jim Willis, Lou Gehrig, Lynn Larry, Ben Chapman, and ball player Schilling all made it. Nice. How has Jim Dunn been playing? Jake Dunn, rather. Jake Dunn has been what we were looking for. He's a positive offensive contributor that's also playing really good defense. I'm very happy with Mr. Dunn being our guy. Well worth the price you paid for him, I think. Well worth it. All of our starters are good, but few of them have been dominant this year. Dizzy Dean comes the closest to being truly dominant. It's hard to find pitchers that strike out more than they walk in this era. Um, Roy Parmalee's been really, really good. He's won a lot of games, but I think that's because of run support, not necessarily because of his raw potential. The control's got to get better for Lefty Gomez. If he's going to be the kind of pitcher we know that he could be, that's got to get better. Same for Van Mungo. I mean, that's really our big issues. We have a lot of pitchers that have reasonable strikeout rates, but relatively low control. Um, which is what it is. Leon Riley, though, has had a master class in being an effective reliever, though. That much is certain. He's been a real stabilizing force, and I'm glad that we have him. I can't believe Jim Willis got to make the All Star team, but I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset about it in the least. All right. I don't see any reason to dilly dally, and I doubt I'm going to trade anybody either. I don't know what I would even want. Um, this fucker is never happy. Never happy. All right, Ben Chapman gets to come back. Hal Trotsky, you've had a very fine audition in the major leagues, but you're going back to Harrisburg. All right, Chapman comes back, which means Damari gets bumped, and Larry gets scooted down, and Mr. Chappington gets to hit here. There we go. Clarence Pocan sucks. Why on earth would I give you Lefty Gomez for him? That seems so incredibly short-sighted. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I refuse. I'm actually gonna have to make a place for Hal Trotsky. At a certain point, he's gonna be so damn good. We're gonna have to find a spot for him. I don't know where that's gonna be yet, though. A good time to let him continue to play in the minor league because he is young as shit, and see what that might turn into. Wesley Hicks sucks. I'm not interested. Goodbye. See, like an elite starting pitcher might be worth trading for. I mean, I guess I could also just check on. Oh, I can't even make that trade if I wanted to. No, William Bell sucks. Let's quickly checkaroo on the freely available players. What do we got here, position player wise? I have a lot of really good players. Maybe too many. The Cubs are really good too, though. I think I have more top tier talent than they do, but the Cubs have themselves quite a team as well. Poor Giants. They only have one better than average player. Oscar Charleston, the man is still going. Good for him. I'm glad he's having an amazing career. Joe DiMaggio. I can't, can I? I reckon this just makes a bad problem worse. But if I don't get Joe DiMaggio, somebody else might. He's so good. Potentially. And I can just let him develop in the minor leagues. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Done. And then we're going to sign you to Harrisburg, where you can work on your swing and everything. Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio on the same roster is a pretty wild thought, and yet is a thing that could be happening. What do we got pitcher wise though? I mean, Nelson Dean would give an instant injection of starting pitching talent right now. Although he doesn't throw terribly hard. And that is still so comical to me that I have Joe DiMaggio just chilling in the minor leagues. Like this is already a fairly good young lineup. Can you imagine adding Trotsky and DiMaggio to it? It's going to be wild. Absolutely wild. Let's continue. Would I trade for a top tier ace? I might, but being honest with you, it would depend on what I'm giving up. That's what it comes down to. It depends on what I'm giving up. If I'm giving up something truly special, it seems like a poor use of my resources. I could also use an upgraded center field, somebody who's as good as Damari but a better hitter. But I don't think players like that are going to be easy to find. What do we have on trade deadline day? Thanks. I don't want your shitty offers here. None of these offers are happening. Thank you. Drive through. Alright, what do we got on display here? Eh. Terry can't play him rather than for his base. So you're just going to keep having an amazing hitter on your team, St. Louis. Yeah, nobody interesting is being offered, which is really disappointing. That is disappointing. Can Joe DiMaggio play center? He cannot. He can only play right. That's fair. Um, at some point, we're going to be selling off some of our outfielders. It's just going to be a question of when and where. Um, I struggle to think that anyone would ever replace Chapman, but if Schilling gets eventually Schilling's gonna hit a wall where he's just gonna get really old really fast. And then he's going to be gone. Um so you got young guns of racing to meet you. Is Joe a lefty? He is a righty, which means he'd be an even better fit in our park. I am plenty chuffed about that. Parmalee got better. Satchel Paige got worse. Tarmutlius got a little bit better. Joe DiMaggio got better. It's all good. Hey, sometimes life finds a way. Hal Trotsky, welcome back to the big leagues. You're gonna take over in right field now. I'm just gonna slot you. Shit, I'm gonna slot you right in where Schilling was. Have you play right field. That seems pretty good. It's gonna be different because he is left-handed, which means he won't have as much raw power as Schilling did in this park. But I'm still reasonably pleased. Pittsburgh is fucking stacked. Pittsburgh is a really good team. Schilling is back, and rosters are expanding. How is Trotsky managed as a right fielder? He's not hitting fantastically. I'm gonna leave Schilling on the roster. Or I'm gonna leave Trotsky on the roster, but I'm gonna have him be a reserve. I'm not playing Trotsky every other game. The skill sets are too different for me to consider Trotsky to be a genuine replacement for him. And I do enjoy the fact that Ray Johnson is getting to play pretty regularly. Um, if he'd only get a little bit better at center field. Oh, Frank Demari's heating up. That's amazing news. That's truly amazing news. Our top flight started starting to lose a tiny bit, which is a little disappointing. It's not unsalvageable, but it is disappointing. Cecil Trout's still getting better at third base after a billion years. Mm. Our starting pitching is still pretty good, but it's not as dominant as it looked when we started. We've used an ejection of starting pitching talent. Who is available? Pitchers of good talent. I think Slim Jones is the guy. Let's sign him. And we will immediately slot him into um, Harrisburg. I'd like to get one more starting pitching prospect. Hugh Casey is awfully good. But I think I'd rather let him develop a bit more before I consider pulling him. Bob Brown doesn't have much control, which makes him a little bit less appealing to me. I'm happy about that. I still think that's a nice addition to the roster. I'm reasonably pleased about that. Yankees end with fucking Jimmy Fox. That's wow. I mean, I guess I can't complain given that I could literally have Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio on the same team. We could add Ted Williams at some point. That would be funny. That'd be really funny. Atrosky misses 3 weeks. That is unfortunate, but we will adjust. It shuts him down for the rest of the season, but I think I'm okay with that. I didn't want to push him too hard in his first regular Major League Baseball experience. Our second consecutive pennant, nice. We're going to finish the year with 101 victories. That seems like a good number of victories. Playoffs begin. So I want to drop to four-man rotation. I think that means Leroy Matlock is the guy that's left out in the dust. He's had a good year, but I need somebody a little bit more explosive. And I still think he could be a very useful contributor as a top tier reliever. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide Mr. Matlock into the bullpen. As our stopper? No, as a middle reliever that we use more often, I think is fine. Um, who else? What else do we need to do to this team to make it ready for the major? To make it ready for the postseason? Um, let us simulate up to October 2nd and we'll decide who's going to start. What happened to Dizzy Dean this year? He just struck out fewer people. I still trust Dean a little more than I trust Lefty Gomez. But I guess it's fine. So let's take a look here. The class of the AL versus the class of the NL. This could literally go either way. I truly don't know. But let's try it out. A pitcher's duel that Bill Foster, the AI can in fact sign people because Bill Foster had a crazy fucking year this year. Like, holy shit. Damn, son. Um. Uh-oh. We might be out of it already. Yeah, we're fucked. They're just battering our pitching staff really hard. We had one victory. That's something. I don't like our chances. I think this is Bill Foster's year to be amazing, and so I'll close my eyes, but I don't think we're going to win that game. We didn't. Yeah, that's disappointing. It's disappointing because we never really had a chance in some of these games. I guess that's not true. Every game was done by 2 runs or less. Um, yeah, that's inaccurate. I apologize. We definitely had a reasonable chance here. Luke Gehrig disappeared a little bit. Ball player Schilling absolutely disappeared. Basically, our best hitters took the series off, and their best hitters were big time contributors. But really, our pitching wasn't as good as it could have been. But I think it's important not to overestimate how good our underestimate how good our pitching was. Lefty Gomez walked too fucking many people. Like that's whatever. Like that's very very obvious to the point where I think we need another starting pitcher. But regardless, we made the World Series. We just didn't win it. And I don't think we were going to win it either. Um, because of the crazy fucking year Bill Foster had. Bill Foster, for the record, just put up one of the best pitching performances in the history of Major League Baseball. Sixth. Damn. What an amazing season he had. Damn. Yeah, OSA does think very highly of him because OSA is fucking stupid. Actually, OSA agrees he's really good. Yeah, just a crazy turnaround for him. It's like he was ever bad with us as the Boston Braves. That is inescapable. Wait, how did we end up not keeping him? Oh no, it was the Red Sox that had him. Yeah, because we signed him with the Red Sox. And then how did he end up? He just became a free agent because they chose not to keep him. Um, damn. What a season by Bill Foster. Like there's no shame whatsoever. And I said eventually I will play a game for y'all, but not when I was going to lose anyway. Like that wasn't going to make any difference. So let's go to the end of the playoffs and then we will look at things. Grimey's going to retire. Not Grimy. We just got something. What did I get? What amazing achievement did I just unlock? I will check as soon as it's finished doing the things here. I've not been drinking my water this morning. Shame on me. What did I get? I demand you to tell me, Steam. What amazing achievement did I just unlock? I guess I just got season over. Great job. There's still so many achievements I've yet to unlock, which is pretty wild. But here we are. I didn't realize my first base coach's contract was up. Oh, did he retire? I think he retired. What happened to him? I don't know. I got a 2-year deal though, which is as it should be. Did I just never have a first base coach this season? Did he like choose not to sign with me or whatever? And I also never set this up, which makes me feel pretty stupid. Oh well. How did the season go from top to bottom? Who are the big contributors and who fell a little bit flat? It was Lou Gehrig's year again. I mean, every year is Lou Gehrig's year. And the only weakness in his game is not his fault. It's that our park is shitty for home runs. So instead of being one of the best home run hitters of all time, he's just one of the best hitters of all time. And that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Mr. Schilling here had an amazing season. Um, what was his deal in real life? Oh, we played in the Negro Leagues for a very short period. There you go. If you had told me one of our top three hitters at this season would be Stan Hack, I would not have believed you. And yet here we are. He has become an invaluable piece of this roster. He gets on base, he hits for good power, he's everything you want in a third baseman and more. Maybe not an incredible defender, but that's okay. Ben Chapman had another outstanding season. He is Mr. On Base, and he is the heart and soul of the Boston Red Sox, or Boston Braves, in my opinion. He's what makes us so successful, is having a player of his raw capabilities hitting leadoff. Jake Dunn, yeah, that dog will hunt. That's a pretty amazing first season. Um, there's still more to his game, but it's not as much. We're looking for good enough offense and great defense, and we got both of those things from him. When Larry backslid, I mean, he was never going to be the best player in the league again. That was an unreasonable expectation. He does get on base really effectively, and that is so important to our success as a club. He's also a pretty damn good shortstop, although he doesn't make a lot of errors. Fair. Frank Damari, I think if I had a better center fielder, I would play him in center field. I think Damari has tapped out at what he can accomplish, and he's a hitter that is greatly reliant on his ability to hit for average. Shanty wasn't the best, which is a little surprising to me. I don't need him to be a great hitter though. I need him to be a great catcher and help the team, and that he succeeded. And that he succeeded. We also had a reasonably deep bench, which I think helped out quite a bit. Roy Johnson and Hal Trotsky both played important roles, even if they didn't play as much as they would have liked. Um, Helmsley was a perfectly fine backup catcher, if nothing spectacular. And Tommy Thompson sucked the big one. But they can't all be winners. Our lineup is ridiculous. And the fact it could get even more ridiculous with Joe DiMaggio and Hal Trotsky being added full time at some point is frankly absurd, and I love it. Let's talk about pitching, though, which I think was the biggest difference in this season and last season. We didn't have the elite pitcher to carry the team. There is nothing at all wrong with Dizzy Dean's season. Dizzy Dean had a very, very good season. We didn't have Clarence White at the peak of his abilities. We had a very good, a very deep rotation, but they all had the same issue, which is they kept walking people. That has to change. We have to find something that will make a reasonable difference in that particular category. Um, I'm gonna remove this just to make it a little easier to read. I'm gonna remove these here. It's not that hard to look it up anyway, so I'm fine with that. Mm, where do we go from here? I guess is my number one question. The answer is I don't know. I think we had banked on having one of the best rotations in the major leagues. And we're still pretty good. But in a short series, I think our depth works against us. And the fact we have three starters that are very similar. And Gomez, Parmalee, and Mungo. During the regular season, it's not as important. But I do think we need a really good control pitcher who's still got some fireballs in his gun. And that might be Leroy Matlock, who's a little bit more well rounded than some of our other starting pitchers. But where do we go from here? I think we need at least 1 to 2 more starting pitchers. Especially when inevitably one of their arms falls off. Henry McHenry might low key be that starting pitcher. He's a long way away from being top tier, but he's very close. And I think a really good offseason and a good spring could really vault him into that upper echelon of great starting pitchers. Where did my entire Montreal? Oh, I see. I got another minor league team. Okay, let's find everyone who's DFA'd and assign them all to AAA. I have a AAA franchise now. There you go. And then let's go ahead and do a bit of minor league culling as a treat. A lot worse players than that. Oh, I wonder if it's set at 25 instead of 30. Be set at 25. No, it's less than 30. What? Oh, all players. That's the issue. Okay. Y'all can go take a flying leap. We did end up drafting Kermit Dial. That's funny. We took him in the 16th round. Yikes. Somebody will take a chance on him, and they will probably be horribly disappointed, but here we are. Release players. Done. Okay. There's a couple things I want to do next season. We want to upgrade its starting pitcher. That is certainty. It's not like we always need better starters, but we just always need better starters. Um, and I think we had to consider center field. And what do we end up doing with ball player Schilling? It is going to be unreasonable as fuck for him to ever come in with another season like this and we're lead the league in slugging percentage. Maybe that's what we expect. I don't know. Like how Jolt and Joe can't even crack the top 25 prospects. That's kind of funny. It's kind of silly. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below. If you haven't joined the subreddit yet, and you would like to do so, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel and send me a message on Reddit, and I'll happily add you to r/AppGuardian Gaming. Sorry, AppGuardian Academy. My apologies. Other than that, I hope you have an amazing Easter, or you had an amazing Easter's if you celebrate that, with some food and friends and family. And I'll join you in the next one on Friday. So thank you very much for watching. As always, this has been Up Guardian, and I bid you